Well, hi, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about working with the human animal. We know that humans communicate in a number of different ways. We communicate with our mouths through talking, body language. We communicate over electronic devices. There are all kinds of ways that we communicate. We communicate because we belong to groups, and those groups need to work together. Our first group is our family. We learn so much of how to communicate from our family. From there, we go all over. We have friend groups, religious groups, youth groups, job and occupational groups, random time and place groups, like a concert, classroom groups, interest groups, youth organizations, sports teams, scout groups, fan groups, all kinds of groupings. Each of these different groups have their own norms that they operate by and expectations on style of communication. For instance, we would not probably communicate the same way in a rock concert as we would with a religious group. Belonging to groups requires the development of positive skills and dispositions, including being able to cooperate effectively, being able to communicate in a variety of ways, an ability to compromise, to let go of some of the things we want to get the group to move forward, the ability to consider others' positions and consider their feelings, to be able to respect other people, deeply respect them for their fundamentals. Groups need leaders, and equally as important are followers. All roles must be filled for any group to be successful. Often, though, the roles and responsibilities change within a group. This is where much of the friction occurs when groups try to communicate but don't do that well. Every group has people in it who have various strengths. We need to value and use those strengths to make effective groups happen. Some behaviors contribute to the ability of a group to function productively. Other behaviors pull away from the group and distract or detract from the group's mission. So we say, what helps, what hurts? Helpful behaviors, rather not helpful behaviors, are interrupting, arguing, arriving late, leaving early, bullying other people in the group, acting out, letting your emotions get the best of you, being negative with the group unduly, leaving others out, not including the entire group, complaining, withdrawing from the group, and not actively listening to other people. Helpful behaviors, on the other hand, include the exact opposite: active listening, sharing, taking turns, respecting others, respecting ideas, valuing contributions of other people, stepping up to do your part. Communication is the key to getting along with others and achieving anything. The foundation for relationship building is communication. As we discussed earlier, nonverbal communication is expressed through posture, gestures, eye contact, and facial expression. It's one of those multiple ways that we communicate. Nonverbal communication is better known as body language. Here we have pictures of monkeys, apes, these are all monkeys, who are giving different expressions on their faces. You can tell by the expression, not by the sounds they're making, but simply the expression of what they're feeling at any given moment. For instance, I would know not to go near the baboon that is on the right, but the baboon on the bottom left might be more approachable. Verbal messages, the actual words and the tone of those words that we're using, are more obvious than nonverbal. But even still, words can be misunderstood because of the tone that they're given. We can all think of times that we've heard someone's voice say one thing, the words say one thing, but the tone says something completely different. Sometimes we give a mixed message, accidentally or not accidentally, when the words coming out of our mouth do not match the nonverbal or body language clues. That's particularly confusing to other people. If the verbal message is not consistent with the body language, the listener does not know which one to believe. Consistent messaging is especially important when using refusal or negotiation skills. If you want to tell someone no, you have to tell them forcefully, intentionally, and you want to be as clear with your body language as possible that you are saying no to them. If you're attempting to negotiate, you want this for that, or you want to try and barter a deal, then you need to be sure that through your communication, you're not showing with your body that you mean one thing, and with your words, you mean something else. Here we have two gentlemen who are discussing the potential for probably some push-ups in the near future. In the military, you'll hear an expression often called hua. So here, the drill sergeant is saying hua, hua, and the gentleman who is receiving the instruction from the drill sergeant says hua back, which means heard, understood, and acknowledged. That's a way that the military uses for clear communication. Active listening is one of the best ways to demonstrate consideration and respect for others. By actively listening, you're able to listen with your head and heart as well as the ears. Nonverbal cues, that body language, is one really good way of showing that you're listening. Nodding, smiling, leaning forward, repeating back what you're hearing. That's active listening. So here we have active listening cues. Asking questions, especially of things that you don't understand of the talker. Saying paraphrases like, what you're saying is, what I'm hearing is. Providing positive feedback. This doesn't always mean you're using positive words. It means that you're replying back with messages that show that you understand what the person is talking about. And the fact that you can show empathy for a person's feelings. Not judging a person because of what they're saying in the moment, but recognizing that emotion may be playing into what they're talking about. Finally, the simple phrase, be kind, is so important for communication to work. We can communicate one way often without being kind. But for the communication to stick, to be effective, and to be heard again in the future, kindness matters. It's simple, but it speaks volumes about the type of person you are. If you are kind, you're building now for relationships in the future. We show respect and care by giving, by showing appreciation, and by helping others when we're able to. These behaviors result in healthy, loving relationships now and for the rest of our lives. Thanks for listening.